Welcome at the first political cafe here in Bucharest. The idea behind this is just to have some fun and to have politics closer to the people.
Europe is something that I said today we deserved. Apparently, in the last 10 to 16 years, it was more of a belief in Brussels or throughout the Western Europe that we deserve to get there than it was a belief in Bucharest or in Romania. I do believe that we Romanians have been extremely good in these 16 years. And when I'm saying this, I have one strong argument, which is that we had to comply in 16 years with rules, regulations, values, systems that people throughout the rest of Europe used to get aligned in about 200 years up to 800 years, depending on the country. We didn't do it perfectly, and we didn't finish, but we did so many steps in getting there through only 16 years. Yes, I think we did fine. Yes, I think we got where we should have got. And despite all the other steps we have to take, we did quite a lot. We did quite a lot. Whose fault is that? While in the 80s, everybody was so enthusiastic about Europe, about European values, about integration, about having a common political structure, a common political construction. Now everybody's only having doubts. Where did the doubts come from? Maybe from what Pam said before, from the fact that politicians have not stayed close enough to the people. Because it's politicians' responsibility to explain political projects. This is a political project, is a wonderful political project, is a visionary political project. We were extremely lucky in Romania. We had to take European actions and to promote European actions every hour and every day for the last 6 to 10 years. So luckily we couldn't step back, and luckily we couldn't take breaks from promoting Europe and from moving towards Europe. Others were in a better political, economic, institutional situation, so they probably thought it was for granted. Well, I'm afraid it's not for granted. That's what we notice. And it's a very good question, what's going to happen afterwards. A couple of weeks ago, I met the Speaker of the German Parliament. He's a very down-to-the-earth politician, very solid person politically. And he was frankly telling me that his opinion is that not only Romania and Bulgaria, but the other 10 countries which joined in 2004 should have waited for older Europe to set up the structure and the shape of the future Europe. And because it's much more difficult to discuss with 27 around the table than with 15. Of course, I was as directed as he was, and I told him that basically the problems we encounter in Europe now have been created by two of the very old European countries, two founding members actually, and not by the new countries. He's a very serious and decent person, so he took it decently. What's important and what we should be looking for, I believe, is the founding values. I call them the founding values. It's the fundamental values of freedom, of free market, of solidarity, the fundamental values of Christianity in the end, values which were grounds of Council of Europe first, of the various cooperations like coal and iron, can you imagine that everything started from steel and coke? Well, it did. Things have added. But there are some fundamental values, leaving the jokes apart. And I think we should keep all these values in mind. I think we should keep all these values in mind when we fear the common currency. I think we should keep all these values in mind when we fear about expansion of Europe. I think we should fear very much about all these values when we fight terrorism. That we want to be European because we want to have freedoms. Not because there's more money there, not because there are more opportunities to make business or to get a better job, or to get better tourism, but because Europe is the land of freedom, is the source of freedoms, and we have to defend those freedoms in Romania and in Europe.
And what can Europe gain from Romania from a European point of view? Because Romania and European Union are of course equal partners. We should gain from each other. What can the European Union gain from Romania?
There are two things. First thing, politically, and I'm saying it bluntly, Europe will gain a pro-European country and some pro-European people. We will be pro-Europeans, we will not be skepticals, we will not be reluctant, we will support the political construction of Europe, and this will be a gain in my view. Europe will gain quite a lot in business area as well. So I would say political support for European construction and good business.
Are you not afraid that the companies like McDonald's, ING, ABN and the other multinationals are taking over local businesses?
I certainly hope they will. They haven't very much yet, but I certainly hope they'll notice that we have an A rating now, which makes me remind that 6 years ago we were not in the junk bond area, we were below the junk bond area if anything like this exists. Now we have an A rating, and I certainly hope that all those companies you mentioned will be much more active here. I don't think there will only be multinationals. There's not only multinationals in Europe or in US. There'll be plenty of place for small and medium-sized enterprises because of the ideas they have, because of the elasticity they have. But I certainly hope that the multinationals will be much more active here.
Why do you like this concept?
I like this concept because you are free to speak. You are free to speak about what do you think about political. What's your opinion about the third man? Bogdan is the third man in the Romanian state. And I was able to ask him exactly what I think. What I want to ask, I ask.
I think it's a wonderful initiative. This is the first time I saw a politician live talking to people here in Bucharest, and that's a great experience.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here. Bye-bye.